Alright guys, BLM here, back with more Yakuza Like a Dragon. We're continuing on. I am also listening to the RGP roundtable.
I was behind the ball this
they're about to start their stock watch. Let's actually pause this. It is late already. It's already 12:30. We're going to continue on here though. Yeah, we're at the point where we can do this, right? We already did everything. Yeah. Oh, wrong one. So yeah, so since I last recorded, I did work. Yeah, didn't really do much in between then. Between the time I last recorded and worked, pretty much just ate dinner and that sort of stuff. Oh, this guy again? Yeah, so I did that, came home, and wanted to watch the Celebrity Circle, which actually ended up being a lot more difficult than I thought to find the episode. Like obviously, like on the official website, it's there, but you need to be from the UK, and I don't feel like paying for a VPN. And which, to be fair, like I'm willing to do so if there's no other option, but I wanted to try to see if there were other options. So spent probably a good like 20 minutes looking for other things, and eventually did find one. Someone did upload it to Reddit, a link to Reddit, so was able to watch it. And along the way, I took notes. Obviously, I did do a lot of prep. I haven't done any prep up until now, so I got all the cast photos, got the made a thumbnail, that sort of stuff. Yeah, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I was actually surprised at how much I enjoyed it, because like, and to be fair, like I haven't been that excited for a circle, mainly because like I already have stuff going on. I already have Big Bird Canada. I already have the challenge. I don't feel like I need something else, and like because of the way that the circle functions, it's like especially the celebrity circle here, it's such a quick turnaround that it's like it is a pain to make a video about. But I'm pretty happy with the first episode there. I thought it was pretty fucking good. I think that like pretty much everyone there, I think, is a fantastic character. I think everyone's pretty much gotten their time to shine. I'm trying to think, like there's 8 people. I'm trying to think, is there anyone that hasn't had a moment? I think everyone's had their own moment. And to be honest, I'm kind of disappointed that we're going to be losing someone already. But then again, it is only a 6-episode season, so it's like, what the fuck do you expect? Yeah, it's fun. I really enjoyed that first episode. It does make me actually more excited for the Circle UK. That's going to be starting next week. As, to be honest, again, I haven't been that excited for it. So that'll be fun, but yeah, now let's listen to the live feed update, which, or not live feed, the roundtable, which,
so thank you to both of them. But
interested in seeing the scores. I haven't seen anything yet, so, and I will probably actually do the stock watch itself later.
Is that we go through each player individually, we give them a rating, 1 out of 10.
We're really playing the exact same music and having the exact same animations.
How are they playing this week? There are many different aspects to, you know, the rating, different.
Okay, so if he increased in level.
Put in like how likely are they to go home next week or be targeted next week? What is their long-term positioning? How have they?
How should we approach this?
Game? Like what? How much faith do you have in them as a player moving forward? Lots of different things that can come into this rating, but we tried to narrow it down to 1 number out of 10. We'll each give our rating, and then we have an audience rating as well, and then we'll average those together to get
that's way too late.
Final rating, which
oh wow, okay, that got really lucky.
Stock price, where you can buy and sell shares of the player based on how well you think they're going to do in the game. So let's get started here. Let's start with Austin. We were just talking about Austin.
No, wrong guy. Fuck.
Not super positive.
Okay, well, I ended up hitting him anyway.
We can start with
So
you.
that kinda
Can
worked
you
out.
tell me what are you feeling number-wise here? What's the rating for Austin?
So with Austin, I'm thinking, okay, this is your HOH week. So anytime there's an HOH, thinking how well are you handling
Yeah, this is
it?
definitely gonna be a lot harder too, by the way. Oh, he gets damaged himself?
Majority alliance, even the alliance that she's in is
damn it.
It's just something that
Something that wouldn't
she
happen.
thinks is a thing. And then what seems to be her closest ally, Brayden. Then we watch the episode and it's Beth that they're tied at the hip. I'm like, okay. So what I settled on for Austin, before I say it, because I think going out of the situation, she could end up on the block next week, but I don't think that it's a shoe-in that she's going to go home. So I'm giving her a 3.
3. Melissa, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel great about her game. However, I feel like she missed an opportunity with this week, and she's not getting out someone who would be
Yeah, it is
beneficial for her to get
interesting
out.
too.
However,
This changes the complete dynamic
let me
of
just
the
preface,
round table by not having
the whole
Brent there.
rating system right now is that my
where
thoughts on
now
the rating
because
system,
of that,
is that we start out the season and everybody is totally neutral, out of 5, and then they can kind of go up or down from there.
This does make it so that it's a lot more high variance.
I feel like everyone kind of is a 5, so I feel like a lot this week are going to be kind of lame ratings where it's kind of just very bland, everyone's kind of hovering around that 5 zone.
What Melissa's trying to tell you is that she has very boring ratings this week.
Yes, essentially, yes. It's going to be pretty boring, I think. Although, who knows? I mean, people are playing really pretty well so far. So, okay. So, I guess for Austin,
Wait,
this
what?
is a tough one because I think if I'm rating purely based on just how I felt her HOH reign went, I would give her a lower score. However, the fact that she won the competition, got HOH in the first place, leads me to believe that she will be good in competitions in the future. Also, she has Brayden. I don't think she's a next target. I don't think she necessarily is considered a huge threat, even though she did win HOH. So I do feel like I'm not going to go crazy. We'll see how she does next week, but I'm going to give her a 4.
All right. I have slightly different slightly different philosophy here for the first week. They definitely caused a bit of a stir at the beginning of season 22 in the U.S. But I look at this week as the first week, and in terms of what I would expect from any player in the first week is that I'm going to be very unsure about them as a player as on a whole, and also how much can you really do in the first week. So I try to judge on that criteria, which means that my rating's going to be more exciting than Melissa's.
La-di-da.
But despite that,
Tyrion.
I gave her a 4 as well. I was the same.
Oh, okay.
I gave her a 4 too, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, she's just been very complacent. I think complacency is probably the best way to describe her HOH. She's missed a lot of opportunities. She's at the same time though, she's clearly capable of winning competitions. That's good. And she's not bad socially. She just needs to start working. I think that say Brayden goes home next week, very possible. Now who's she gonna hang out with? She's gonna have to socialize a bit more. She's out of the HOH room too. She's gonna be in the bedrooms with people, so hopefully socializing more.
So this is where he picks
just
up.
because she's just a number now doesn't mean that she couldn't get lucky and turn into something valuable in the future if she's needed for some kind of power play. That wouldn't be terrible either. But this is not a high 4. This is if things continue on this trajectory, she only can go down from here. But I do think that she has some potential to rise up from here. So it was a 4 for me, and the audience also gave her a 4. They agreed.
All right. So I'm the hard one on her.
Yeah, harsh ratings. Wow, Asia.
That's how we get you. We trick you into going first, and then you're the odd one out. All right, Melissa, let's have you go first on Bet.
Alrighty. I thought that Beth's doing a pretty good job. I think, like, you know, we just discussed the
I think
whole
Beth is
double
7,
showmance thing.
Or was it
I
6?
do
I
think
think it was
that
a
that's
6.
putting her in a little bit of a precarious position, but at this point, it hasn't been a problem, and hopefully it doesn't cause her any problems in the future.
Do we risk it? I think we should risk
making
it.
good relationships with people. I feel like, I mean, she got added into the Sunsetter Alliance, and I think, you know, she's also working with the her two showmance partners, you know, and she's got also Austin.
I think we're gonna risk
they're
it.
really close.
This might backfire, but
and so I do
that's
feel
what we're gonna do
like
here.
she's in a good position socially and I guess strategically. I do think that can kind of translate.
We might have fucked up.
Well,
Oh
like
no, we
if
didn't.
you connect with people socially, I do think it's like people want to keep you around, want to work with you.
Okay, let's actually go and heal him
You know,
now.
so and I haven't really heard people saying like we need to get her out. So I do think she's doing a good job. I'm pretty impressed with her gameplay. I liked when she talked to the camera and, you know, you could kind of like get a sense of where her head's at, and she's not just there to like, oh, I just want to flirt and have fun. It's like I do feel that game sense from her. So I'm gonna give her a 6.
All right. I was a little bit higher on Beth, I think. I gave her a 7. And the reason I gave Beth a 7 is mostly because she's in the Majority Alliance. And that's a pretty good place to be when the Majority Alliance is as dominant as it seems to be as of right now. On top of that, she's in the Majority Alliance with a side alliance. It's also a good place to be. She does have Austin on her side, and I think she has Austin more so than Jed or Ty does. And that means that she does have some extra numbers. And on top of that, she's also got a pretty good relationship with Brayden. So even if Austin leaves and Brayden's alone, I think Brayden probably gravitates more toward Beth than anyone else. And that's a pretty good place to be. Now, that does not mean that she's in a killer spot, and that's because I don't think she's particularly subtle about her position in the game. We were just talking about even her showmancing isn't subtle, but beyond that, also the fact that she's kind of playing both sides is not super subtle. Her own alliance sees that she's close with Austin and Brayden, and they don't fully trust her at all times because of that. She also has people from the other side, meaning Kyle and Ro, very suspicious of her because she's very flirty with them. They see her talking with Austin and Brayden, they see her talking with Ty and Jed, and they think that she is a very dangerous player.
That's a really good attack, by the way.
They could take a shot at her at some point. Now, again, the thing, though, that we have to consider is that even if they did take a shot at her, she'd probably be okay as long as the majority was able to swing some kind of person sitting next to her that's not one of them, which is certainly possible. She also trusts Tina a bit too much, which is
we are going to use
a good thing, because
this.
Tina recognizes that. We've seen that Tina's pretty effective at keeping the people that trust her around because they're going to be useful for her. So she's in a weird spot, an interesting spot, and I have her at a 7 here. Asia, what do you think?
So I make sure I'm not muted because of the dogs. They are having a grand old time out there. On paper, Beth is in a good position in terms of being in the Majority Alliance and having these side alliances. However, in the Majority Alliance, she's at the bottom, being the last ad. And then with her 2 showmances, I would say if she had 2 flirtmances, cool. But these 2 showmances with these friends, the undercover brothers.
Okay, I really thought that was going to kill him.
That's going to end well by any means. I think someone's going to catch feelings. I think it's going to turn into a situation where one of them gets mad and maybe stops talking to her for a day, and then she's all concerned and has to give him attention, and then she is avoiding the other one. And I think it just leaves room for this messiness, and I can just see it turning, especially because it's so early, and the fact that, I mean, who starts a showmance? Like, it's very rare people start a showmance and then it fades out. So I just think that that's going to get her in trouble.
Good, then.
So I landed at a 6.
We can do this pretty easily.
All right, the audience
Not the guy I meant to hit, but
landed at a 6 for Beth. So she is going to fall there at a 6 overall. Let's talk about Brayden. Let's talk about Brayden next. Brayden, I actually, sometimes I take some notes for people. I don't have a lot for Brayden, and that's mostly because I gave him a 3. And I said, he's a likable guy,
but
he's playing summer camp right now.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna give him a 3. Yeah. I just feel like he's not. He's got this social aspect, which I guess is good, but I feel like he's not translating that into like the game part of it. And I think that if he could translate that into the game part, he would be in a good position since people seem to like him. He's getting along with people, not a problem. But like, I don't know if he has that in mind. Like, I don't know if he's planning on switching it around to like create game relationships and game bonds with people. So like,
oh, do we have to fight more people?
See it yet. So. And like the reason why he's lower than Austin in my mind is like Austin won HOH and she has like Beth and other connections like right there. So I mean, she's not in a great position, but I think he's in a worse position. So yeah, 3 for me.
Yeah, I also agree that he is a 3 because, like, I wouldn't say a 1 because I think that he's likable, and I don't think that it's a shoo-in that he's, like, next on the hit list. But, yeah, he's in summer camp. He's just having a good time. On the episode, we saw them trying to talk game, and he was just, why are you mean?
If they fully restore us, I wouldn't be
like,
upset.
that's all he had to contribute to the conversation.
He's like, that fight wasn't that bad.
I think he is just there to see what happens, what falls into his lap. And I'm sorry, sweetheart, these people are playing.
But they, like, start us with, like, almost
and
no,
so
like,
nothing
MP
is just
and
going
stuff.
to fall out of thin air, and he's going to be aligned with someone and make it.
He might be.
So right now, he's definitely a 3.
All right. Well, the audience was a little kinder to Brayden. They gave him a 4. The audience tends to be the most boring raider of all. They like gravitating toward the middle. So let's talk.
I'm hoping Jed seems
Jed.
low
We had a little
because
bit
I'm
of a
definitely going to be
discussion
buying
here
his stock if he's
Jed.
low.
We can start
don't
with,
think he's
with
going to be
the audience
though.
on this one. They gave Jed a 6, very close to a 7, but they ended up giving him a
That's what I gave him.
6 out of
Yeah, he's
10
not going to be that low, is he?
Jed. Melissa, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, honestly, I was gonna give him the same rating. I
Yeah,
was gonna give
can't
him
buy
a
him,
6
that's
because, I was gonna give him higher. Honestly, I thought he was in a really good position, but that house meeting today kind of freaked me out a little bit. I think I still think he's in a good position just because he's got all these alliances there. People all seem to want to work with him. I'm not hearing a ton of conversation, shockingly, about how Jed and Ty are like super big threats or anything like that. I mean, like, people are saying it, but not like
you?
We need to get them out right away. They're a huge danger to my game, whatever. Like, I'm not hearing that. So I do think he's in a pretty good spot. I didn't love the house meeting, so it kind of made me lose a little bit of faith in his game ability and his ability to play non-emotionally. So, that's, 6.
Yes, I was also maybe a little bit kinder to Jed. I feel very good about the people in the Sunsetters. I think they're going to be here for a long time, and the fact that they are set up that well in week 1 tells me that I'm going to give them a pretty good rating. And so for me, Jed is a 7. I feel despite the house meeting, which I do think had pros and cons to it, probably more cons than pros, but I especially if we're asking Josh. But I do think that he is a very likable guy overall. He is very good socially. I think that he is.
Oh yeah, that's another thing I did
enough.
do today. I did
very
officially
mental competitions,
swap out the Far Cry video, bump that up,
who's really
swapped it for the DLC, AC, the Hall
many
DLC
people.
review,
I think he'll be
and
here
also
for a while, and I
bumped
think he'll have a lot of
the
opportunity to
other
do
one.
well in this
The other
game.
game I
So
bumped, or
for me,
other
that's a 7.
Okay.
What do you think, Asia?
Yeah, so I was at an 8 before the house
Okay, who's he
meeting, and then
taking
after
the
the house
place
meeting,
of,
I did come down to a 7
there can only be
because
4
I
party
think
members,
that
right?
he is well positioned in the house.
Hopefully they
But
fucking
now
loaded my MP.
And I think it was a situation where people
I have a
saw
feeling they
him
did.
and Ty as just as charming. They
Oh,
loved
they
being around
did.
both of them.
Cool.
And, they're both in this power alliance. But now it's kind of a thing where Jed is capable of calling out a house meeting, and Ty, you don't think he would do that. So you're going to kind of try to handle
Psycho's gone.
those 2 different people differently moving forward.
Oh shit, there's a
And so
lot
I
of
think
guys
that, Toya, she probably won't care. Like, she's probably gonna.
That's not great,
maybe lean
actually.
into Jed more than
It would've been
Ty
better if we
because
could
he's
keep her
more
over
direct,
him.
or he's more capable of calling people out. But you may not see that for a majority of the house. So I am at a 7.
All right, so he's going to land there at a 7 overall.
I think
Let's
we'll
talk about
go for
Josh.
him.
Let's talk about Josh. Asia, what do you think about
Ooh,
Josh?
weak to it too. That's perfect.
I hope I'm not too high on Josh.
That's still
no,
barely
I gave him a 1. I gave him because
dropping the 1 bombs already.
I think unless there's some awakening tonight or tomorrow where people realize, okay, we see that Ro and Kyle are a pair.
Okay,
we need
so
to break
what does
that
he
up.
have?
Unless there's something like that, then he's going home. And there's just no way out of it. The house meeting,
he can still
came out of
heal.
it worse off because he wasn't even answering questions well. They're trying to ask him direct questions, and he's just like, I don't know. You did
So
this.
he is a
And
revived
so, like, even
thing,
though,
too.
you know, Jed may have looked a certain way in that house meeting, it also didn't, I mean, I know it was sprung on Josh, but, you know, it didn't help it. It didn't help his case by any means. And I think even now, people are just going to more so ostracize him more because they're just like, look, this is enough. You're lying. We caught you with about all your lies. So, no, we're done. So I just think that he's gone.
Reddit's going to start pumping Josh stock.
Oh God. I honestly, like, when the house meeting was starting, I was like, oh good, this is good for Josh. Like, I feel like he can do really well here because he had already talked, like, into the camera about, like, okay, I have this plan, like, this is how I'm gonna get out of this situation.
He's doing
and I was
this
like,
attack again.
I felt good about him. I felt like, okay, he has this plan. Now there's a chance, like, to talk about all this stuff out in the open in front of everyone. Like, let's go. Josh can do this. And then he kind of just, like, totally blew it. And then not only that, if someone's accusing you of lying, and then you just say, yep, that's right, I'm a liar, like, sarcastically, it does not help your case. Like, it's just like, okay,
you know
so,
what?
like, wait, so you are lying? Like, you were lying? I don't know. Because if I'm being honest and I'm being accused of lying, I will vehemently be like, I am absolutely not lying. I'm telling the truth. And you will, like, keep fighting it. But if you are...
Wait, no,
if
where's
you're caught
Namba?
in a lie and you were lying,
Is that Namba?
it's very easy to just be like, yeah, sure, yep, I was lying. No, I wasn't lying. I was telling the truth. It's like, you're so nonchalant about it that it like, makes me think you were lying, and that like that's your cover up. Like I don't know. I just feel like he didn't do it well. He did not do a good job. I'm gonna be a little kinder to Josh just because I do still see a chance for him to stay. You never know what's gonna happen. I mean, I feel like it was like Wednesday night when Derek turned the vote around and Zach Rance was able to stay. So I just feel like there is a chance, and if he can stay this week, I could see him lasting a while because I could see a situation where he kind of fades in the background and everyone starts turning on each other. Like, so I don't know, but I don't. If he goes, he goes. But you know, I could see a different storyline happening. So I'm gonna give him a 2.
You think Tina Giesling is going to step in?
She could. You never know.
Yeah, I also gave him a 2. But I understand the 1 though. I mean, he's very bad at the game. I usually reserve 1s for not only a guarantee that they're going home, but they also like are actively making it worse on themselves and like have terrible reads and are constantly like putting themselves in a spot where like they shouldn't even be on the block, and yet they put themselves there and they've guaranteed that they're going home. I feel like Josh, this is a rough spot for him. The team's twist did not help him in any way. He's still getting, you know, attacked for things that happened last week. And
let's heal him.
Yeah, I mean, he was not great in the house meeting, but he also wasn't terrible. I mean,
I forgot that he doesn't have that much health.
Actively making his own position worse. I think that he just has a no-win scenario. And I don't think that he'll ever be very good at this game. I don't think he'll ever crack a 2. But yeah, it's a 2. And the audience, the audience all said a 2.
Yeah, it's like drop Josh in any season. This is probably going to be his fate.
I mean, look, drop him in a season of Emerson College film majors, and you know what? He'd probably be great.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, that's the thing. And that's something that, honestly, you should look out for when you're trying to do drafts and stuff. Like, if somebody's like, hey, I'm a unique personality, Big Brother doesn't usually cast people like me, that's not a great sign for their prospects in the game, because it means they're not going to have people that are similar to them in the game. And that is huge.
Yeah, for our draft, we're going to need to keep that in mind. Like, if someone says that you never see someone like me on the show, that would be good. I'm not drafting you.
And I mean, I like that they cast people that aren't like I would like more Joshes. I would like more, just like we're having all kinds of diversity in this cast. Like cast a diverse range of personalities, of ages, of all kinds of things. But until that happens, you know. Sorry, Josh.
You're right.
All right. Let's talk about Kiefer. I feel okay about Kiefer. Like I said, anybody in the Majority Alliance, I'm going to feel pretty good about. Kiefer is probably the biggest exception to that because he has already gone on the block, and he is not the most respected person in the Sunsetters, and he does not have many connections outside of the Sunsetters. I don't see
Kiefer? I think I gave him a
great
4, right?
long-term prospects for his game. But
okay,
I
that wasn't
do
bad.
think he should be around for a while. But for as long as these teams stay in place, he might be used as a pawn. And honestly, as I just talked that through, I talked myself back down to a 5 because here's why. Even though he's in the Majority Alliance, people in the Majority Alliance are talking about, well, next week if I win, I'm going to have to use Kiefer as a pawn. And if Kiefer's used as a pawn 2 weeks in a row, in the first 2 weeks of the game, first 2 weeks of an HOH game, that's hard to recover from. That puts you in a bad spot. He did win the veto this week, which is super helpful, but I don't like that. Now, I do think he has some potential in the game. I think that he knows the game decently well, and so because of that, I think that he has the capability to pull off some moves. But I also think he's just I think he's a little too loyal to the Sunsetters, and the Sunsetters are not a crew where he has a great shot, really. I mean,
no, I gave it to the wrong one.
He's going to win a jury vote against anybody.
Well, that was really lucky, though.
And he's not the person who is necessarily going to win endgame comps against. Oh, you know what? I take that back. Big Brother Canada is a little bit less physical in the end than Big Brother US, and a little more mental. And I do think that Kiefer can do very well in the mental competitions. He really does study. I mean, it's not the worst spot in the world, and that's why I keep going back and forth on Kiefer. But I'm gonna land there at a 5 because I really do think he can go in any direction at this point. Asia, what do you think?
Okay.
I agree. When I sat down and I really thought about these ratings earlier today, I landed at a 5 too with Kiefer because I think I think he's going to be a pawn star. 2, I think that he is disposable to his alliance. Like, I think that the more the house develops relationships, it might be a situation where 2 weeks down the line, 3 weeks down the line, when the teams are over, that Kiefer is a casualty and goes home, and then they just pull in someone else to fill that last spot in the Sunsetters and maybe make it seem like it's this new alliance that just formed. But I think that he's not the one making the decisions in the alliance. He's there because he was in that like compromising position of being on the block this week. So I think, I don't know what it will take to kind of turn things around, but just for him to just have more agency in the game, just for it to seem that he's not just like a bystander, he's not just a number, he's not someone that's to just put up. So yeah, a 5.
Yeah, I mean, I feel similarly to what you guys are saying.
I just realized that. Why the fuck does he get 2 turns?
One of those things where it's like, he starts off at a 5, and then you've got, positives because he's in the Giant Alliance. He won a comp and saved himself, took him off the block. That's good.
It would be nice if we could give him better gear.
He was put on the block in the first place. People are talking about him as a pawn. I don't think. I mean, first of all, his alliance has already had to tell him not to do certain things, like don't go and talk to Austin like this, or like you have to go and talk to Austin and say this, or don't say this to the HOH this, or
the cheering in the HOH competition was
it's just a lot of like
I should have used that from the beginning.
I feel like it's like a teacher-pupil relationship where it's like they're like, don't do, like, you need to play it this way, like I need you to go and say this to so and so, like basically having to coach him through it. And I also feel like
2 of them.
they don't respect him. I don't feel like his alliance respects him. I think that he they would let him go in a heartbeat if they had to. Like if it came down to it, they'd let him go. He's just a number, but he's not really like in the core of like the strategy part of the alliance. I mean, for example, when Kiefer was like, maybe we should switch and take Ro out, and everyone's like, no, shut up. And then the second like Jed or Ty or whoever like proposes it, they're like, I never thought of it that way. It's like, okay, so you clearly don't think highly of Kiefer's opinion literally at all. So I don't feel great about him, and so I'm going to give him a 4.
All right. Well, the audience agreed with Melissa. Actually, they gave him a 4 as well. It was a close one, close 1 to 5, but it was not.
Not one.
It was a 4. So that means the Kiefer is going to land at a 5 overall, and we're going to move on to Kyle. Let's talk about Kyle. Now, Kyle did get a 5 from the audience.
Really?
He did land that 5 from the audience, which is an interesting spot for him. Melissa, how do you feel about that?
4, right?
I was honestly going to say the same thing, just because, like, I feel like he's very middling to me. He hasn't really done much that makes me think that he's not a good player, but he hasn't done anything really to make me think he is a good player. I liked to hear that he is a fan of the show. He plays Big Brother with his friends in the woods or whatever. So I do think that makes me feel like he at least understands the game and like knows the strategy. I think that it's good that he has like a tight 2 with Ro. And the one thing is that like he's not in the majority alliance. That's not good for him. I feel like
Kiefer's at a 5, Josh at 2, Jetson's at a 7.
Ro and Kyle to
Beth's at a 6,
Ty and Jed,
3,
and you're
Austin
like,
at
if
4.
you're with Ty and Jed, you're like, okay, those 2 are going to be a problem for those 2. So like, I would stick with Ty and Jed if I'm working with them, and we'll have to get out Kyle and Ro. Like that's just the way it's going to have to be. So I do
Jed
feel
would
like
go down due to
moving
that
forward,
meeting,
he could be in danger since he's not included in the majority. But he's not really creating waves yet. Like he's not really doing anything that makes me like concerned about him. So I do think that he's just kind of there in the middle right now.
Yeah. Kyle's interesting because to me, there are sometimes players in the game where like somebody like me or other commenters might say like, look, I think this person is capable of playing well. I think
guess
that
I should
they have
talk
potential,
about
but the way that the show is cast, they're never going to have an opportunity. The cast isn't diverse
my
enough.
plan for tomorrow.
They don't have the kinds of people that
morning,
they could easily get along with.
Ideally, I would be able
the
to
cast
record
usually
at
looks a
least
lot more
2
like Kyle.
videos.
And I think in a cast
right
that would typically
now,
look a lot
the ones
more
I
like
would
Kyle,
think I would do
Kyle
would
probably
be
is
the
in the
Amazing
majority
Race.
alliance, and I think he could be a dangerous player
Retrospective
in the
and
majority alliance.
probably Battle
But
of
in
the
this cast,
Seasons.
he's not.
If not,
And
maybe
in
just
this
get the
cast,
2
he
Amazing
is
Race
struggling to
videos out of the
find
way.
allies.
Maybe actually, maybe
And,
that is what I'll do. Try to get the 2
here
Amazing
we
Race
are.
videos out of the way.
I think that he is, obviously
And then
he knows
I
the
do have
game.
stuff
He
going on
even
in the
gave,
afternoon.
I
That'll
said
probably
this
take
before,
up
he
a
gave
few hours.
his own little version
But
of like a
once
Gator
that's
speech
done,
when he was
we
pitching
got
to
Celebrity
Latoya
Circle,
and Tara
we got
about how
Big Bear Canada, we
we're not
got
in the majority.
the challenge.
You can't let the
So
majority
all 3 of
build
those shows got to
momentum.
watch.
You
take
can't
notes
let
for
them
them.
do this. We need to,
And
we need
then
to form some sort of counter thing.
if I have time, I'll try to edit
it's not working because this majority has already been
start the editing
entrenched, and
process,
he's approaching
but
people who are in the majority.
not really going to bank on it.
And it's making him a huge target. And he is going to be targeted very soon.
Wait, what was the point about Williams?
I think it's funny because I don't like blame him or I don't fault him for like going to people like Tina or like Latoya or someone like that.
I don't fault him at all.
Well, no, I just mean like because normally they wouldn't be in the majority alliance. Like in normal Big Brother, the majority alliance would be like Austin, Beth, Jed, Ty, like Brayden. That would be the majority. So like I could see a situation where you're like, okay, how do I talk to the people on the outskirts? Oh, okay, I'll just go to these outskirt people.
Yeah,
and really like it's the opposite.
Considering
this season where
last
they're in
week
the majority,
on Wednesday was when I heard back
people
from
are
my
people that you would expect to be in it. I don't know.
Which is so
from
interesting,
the
right?
job that I applied for and
I
everything.
love how this is
I wouldn't be
playing out because
surprised
I
if
feel
tomorrow's
like
the day I hear back. If I do hear back, tomorrow will be the day I hear back. So that might also play into tomorrow.
And so,
We'll see.
so Kyle is struggling, and I do think that he will probably continue to struggle. Now, that said, I don't know how far Tina intends to try to protect Kyle and Ro. I have a feeling that she doesn't really care for the both of them staying around, and that she could easily lose one of them and then feel like she can pull the other one in, just based on what she's talked about with Tara. And I feel like Kyle is probably the one she would want to let go of the two of them. So I don't have a lot of hopes for his long-term prospects in this game. However, I don't think that we can count him completely out yet, because he could win an HOH, Ro could win an HOH, Tara could win an HOH.
Actually, I should have saved. I'm a fucking
any one
idiot.
of these situations, even
I'm sure that's what the
think
point of that was.
Straight
Right?
at Kyle, nor can she actually, because of the teams. So there are actually a lot of scenarios where he's okay, especially because of these teams. Like, if anyone on his side, if anyone on his team wins, they can't go after him. They might go after Ro, but that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for Kyle, because if Ro goes, then his threat has been neutralized to some degree, and they might go after somebody else instead. So I do think he still has potential in this game, and I landed at a 5.
Yep.
Really?
Gotcha.
They're actually giving Kyle a 5?
Yeah, with
That's way too high, in my
Kyle.
Is
I
this?
think that. So when I was thinking about this, I was thinking, okay, if
Oh.
Silver's team defender
Obviously, like,
wins next week,
knew he was
wins
coming at some
HOH,
point.
how likely is it for Kyle?
Kind of forgot about him, though. It's been so long.
I think it's very likely, because I think if someone from the Sunsetters wins, it's going to be some combination of Kyle, Tara, and Victoria, because I could see Jed and Ty trying to prevent Austin if they truly do make the 4 like a solid side alliance for them. So because of that, I did give Kyle a 4, just because I don't see him as very middle of the road. So if I'm thinking Kiefer is middle of the road, it's because he's in a good position, but he's not playing, he's not being active. Whereas Kyle is like, he's not in the best position, he's not doing
Yeah, I gave Kyle a 4, right?
But like you said, there is potential. So I think a 4 is solid for now.
Makes sense. All right, so that's going to be a 5 overall for Kyle. Let's talk about Latoya. Let's talk about Latoya. Latoya is such an interesting player, because I feel like, you know, my perception of her based on the first episode was that she was the one that people were going to sort of be like, okay, she's the leader of the alliance. You know, she's flipping the vote, she's pulling people into rooms, and you know, then Kyle and Ro approach her about this side thing, and I was like, oh, here we go. Like, Latoya could be the person running this game. And then she rats it out to Jed and Ty, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, she's not interested.
Ideally,
she's not interested in playing that kind of game. She's
get the end of the
genuine.
chapter,
She says
but
she doesn't want
I
to
don't
lie to
think we
people.
are, because
That's interesting
this
to me.
isn't normally the screen that we get before
And
that.
she, on top of that, she is very much seemingly team focused.
I did get my schedule for next week, which
so
is
she is kind of like
pretty much.
it seems like
I mean,
very,
it's
sort of
pretty
like,
similar.
okay,
Just
so
like
this is
it's
the team.
back to like
We're gonna play for the
I
team,
do work
and
all
she's a
day on
very
Saturday.
strong asset to the
Like
team.
it's essentially
And
the
on
same
top
as
of
this
that,
week,
she's not
but
as
I
big a
work all day on
target
Saturday
as we
instead of
might have
having
assumed,
a
given the
shorter
first
day.
night of
So.
feeds, where a lot of people were talking about targeting
Oh,
her.
well.
It seems like not many people are actually that interested in targeting her, and so she's kind of like shifted in my mind as like, okay, so she's not as self-interested as I want her to be, but she's also not as big a target as I thought she was. And for those reasons, I actually still feel very good about Latoya in general. And I think that
Yeah, I think give Latoya a 6, but it's like could be a 7. I think it's very close.
Beth and Jed.
Yeah, I would too.
But I'm not quite ready to go up from the 7, so I also gave her a 7. But she's a higher 7 than the other two in the Sunsetters. She's in the top half of the Sunsetters for me.
Totally.
Yes.
Same. I mean, I want to give her the same score. I was going to give her a 7 as well. I think she's playing really well. I'm excited to see what she does. I think that she's in a good
Yeah, we'll
position.
do at least one more episode after this. It's
I was
already
a little
110.
nervous, I have to
So
be
it is late,
honest,
but
seeing that
fuck it.
scene with Julie where it was like, I'm just not going to talk about this, because I could see that rubbing people the wrong way and kind of just being like, oh, okay, so you're not going to communicate with me. If she doesn't want to lie, it's like, And also, if she doesn't want to lie, I mean, people are gonna find that out. Like, if she just immediately walks out of the room, like, and won't have a conversation with you, it's like, oh, okay, because you did say this. Like, it's like a tell. You don't have to lie, but I know what you're saying. Like, you're communicating to me by not saying anything. So, I mean, I'm a little worried about that. Plus, like, I do think that eventually, if she keeps kind of like maintaining this leader role, I do think people will start to see her as a huge threat and will be like, okay, we have to get her out. Like, there's no way around it. She's a leader. Whereas I do think Tina is someone that kind of like can blend in the background and not really come across as a leader. And people wouldn't automatically assume that she's the leader of the, you know, the large alliance. So I am impressed with Latoya. However, I do kind of feel like I need to see how this goes. So I'm going to give her a 7 as well.
All right, Asia, what do you think?
Yeah, so I feel the same about Toya as I did at the premiere. I thought she was a boss then. I think she's a boss now. She has impressed me because
tomorrow my Life is Strange video comes out, which I'm not expecting to do well.
Where people realize they need to get her out, but she has managed to bring it
I just
down
realized
and be a
today
little bit
was a
more
pretty
subtle
bad
because
fucking
she's
day
super
view-wise. I did not even
focused. So
pay
I think
attention
that's
to
helped
it.
her so
Checked
much. And
what is that? That's like 2,700 views, which I think is my worst day since mid-February. So
realize that she's as big of a threat as they should look at her as. So like someone like Tina or Jed or Ty.
Views are
like,
stabilizing.
better get Toya out before it's
Though
too late.
it does look like my Dreamcasting Old Squares New School, my global season ranking, and my Jeff Probst Nightmare Cast videos are all doing pretty solidly right now. But everything else is pretty much stabilized, if not doing mediocre.
Continues to play the way she's playing, like it's naturally gonna go up from there because she
yeah, Old
is so
Squares New
well
School, by the way, like, I mean, that
positioned
video's pretty
to
much,
value her
like, even though it's still
opinion,
getting
even though
views,
she
it's like,
can't lie, I hope
it's
she
not doing great.
learns
It's pretty much stabilizing a little bit of, like,
takes some tips
it's
from Tina,
5,849 views right now. It'll probably reach
right now.
6,000, but it's probably going to take a while for it to reach much beyond that, I would think.
They gave her 7 as well. So it's going to be straight 7s for Latoya, which means I think that she is currently the highest rated player.
Yeah, Life is Strange, I mean,
average-wise.
it's probably going to end up somewhere between Catherine and Gokaiger. I think it'll do better than the Catherine video. Are we still in chapter 10?
Ro's an interesting one here. Did I start the last one? I think I might have.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident it'll do better than the Catherine video. I don't think it'll do as good as the Gokaiger video, though. Like, I think it's a video that'll probably land somewhere in the, like, 300 to 400 view range. Again, not great at the end of the day, but also not terrible. That is a video, though, that was made a while back at this point. Like, that was made so long ago. Yeah, that was made before I forgot about that. Yeah, I played it before I fucking played Yakuza 0. Yeah, I played the fucking Life is Strange series before fucking Brotherhood, before the Brotherhood retrospective. Yeah, I played it immediately after Watch Dogs. Oh my fucking god, dude. That was so long ago.
It shows that, like, he's expendable.
Holy shit. Yeah, that video really needs to come out. Yeah, because what ended up happening with that was that, part of the way, like, I started playing Life is Strange 1, obviously, and playing Life is Strange 1, I was like, well, fuck it, we can do our own, like, I feel like I have enough to say about Life is Strange 1 that I could do its own retrospective, like, full-blown retrospective of Life is Strange 1, like, little detail, like, go through the little details of the game, which I did, and then, we can do a more general retrospective about, the entire series, which also I did.
Concerned about him. He's on the block. He could go home. So
yeah, we'll end here. Next episode continue on. For now, thank you for watching.
I'm gonna